Language. I'm gonna have to beat that.
Wow.
That looks really cool.
Look at that. Look at Marcus here. At least I don't look like that.
I got a bob.
Pretty good.
Okay.
The wheel fit in the back is really good.
Yeah. It just doesn't do it justice on camera though. This thing looks so badass, especially in the back. It looks so low. The front can go a little lower. What do you think, Bray? Yeah. She's already done.
Oh, I was watching bacon. Need a lip.
It has a lip.
Needs another.
Apparently, she doesn't pay attention. Said it needs a lip. I'm Eric, this is Family Man Racing, and that is my 6G 75 swapped 3000 GT all-wheel drive. Bit different than most ways. So it has an ATF speed adapter to a Powerglide, and I have a Racing in the Dirt transfer case, a Dana 35 front diff from a Ford Ranger, and that's a 6G75 mock-up motor. It will have some sort of big turbo for class racing, up to 76.9 millimeter. Current plan is E85 with the intercooler, but it's also set up with 2 injectors per cylinder. But he's sending intake he fabricated for me soon, and so we could run methanol as well. All right, it has Lexan all the way around. Well, optic armor technically. Spartan interior. Kirky, fiberglass hatch, and yeah, currently working on wiring. But this is the first time it's been on the ground in a year, and I'm excited. The rear has a Ford 9-inch with a 4-link that's 100% bolt into stock components. The front is stock suspension as well. So it's class legal for any kind of stock suspension rules. It's a full frame rail car all the way to the back. And then only in front of the strut towers is it tubed also per rules. Still need to cert the cage, but it should dual cert 25.5 and 25.1. 25.5 is, well, 25.1 is good to like 6.0 in the quarter, as long as it's under 2,800 pounds. And then 25.5 is good for 750 up to like, I think 3,600 pounds. But I'm going to weigh it. I may or may not post it on this video. It's almost complete as far as weight. It doesn't have fluids in it, so there's a 2.5 gallon cell up front. No coolant in it currently, no oil, no transmission fluid, no diff fluid either side. So there's a lot of fluids that need to go in it. And there's the intake manifold, but I have the hoist, which is probably just as heavy, if not heavier than the intake manifold. Minor piping. I am missing the exhaust manifold stuff. It's getting Cerakoted right now, so I'll have to calculate that in. So it's premature, but gonna weigh it anyway. Man, it looks so good. Ride height wise, probably where I'm gonna end up, but like I said, I can lower the front maybe a little bit yet. I was hoping to kind of tuck that a little. The rears need rolled, so I can't lower it anymore. but yeah, I could lower that a hair, and then, oh yeah, I can lower that. And same back there. Yeah. So probably good 1/2 inch all the way around, maybe up to 1 inch. Very, very cool. Let's see. Oh, other cool stuff. So if you go look, short interjection, comment below what you think the name should be. And keep in mind, the white has grown on me. So keep it clean, but comment some names. I think I have one pretty well decided, but maybe there's some creative ideas out there. I personally like something that's not necessarily totally aggressive, but relating to racing, beating competition, blah, blah, blah. Something that's, it's a race car. It's intended to win. Maybe some fear and intimidation. Yeah, give us some ideas. Go look at some of my old videos with Green Bean, which was an LS swap 3000 GT that I eventually 4-wheel drive swapped. The front end was just really high. Axles angles didn't allow it to come down any further, and it was just it just bothered me. With this car, I wanted to fix that. It took a lot of work because the 6G is actually a really tall motor. It's a 60-degree V6 versus V8s are 90-degree. Spreads it out, makes it shorter. So the reason that's a problem is the reason that the axle angles were poor is because the diff was too low. So I have to get the diff up. But if you get the diff up, then the motor has to come up, and everything is super tight fit. That's why I got a custom intake manifold made so it'll fit under the hood. I hate stuff sticking through the hood. We think it's going to fit. So that's step one, diff up, make motor fit. Step two was the gearing and tire size. So the back has a 28-inch tire. Normally, you would run a 28-inch tire up front also and match the gearing. But 28 in the back looks great. 28 up front barely fits. You can't turn the wheel if it's centered. You have to move the wheel forward, and then you have to trim the bumper, and it just gets ugly and not balanced looking. So this is a 27 in the front, 28 in the back. But it's all-wheel drive. So I did gearing change. The front and back have a different gear. The tire circumference all calculates in, big spreadsheet. And that's what I came up with. I have to be careful on which tire manufacturers and look at their specifications and then measure rollout and all that good stuff too. So, but yeah, it's in theory, matches up beautifully. And so it's a 27 by 10 and a half, doesn't really measure quite that much, and a 28 by 10 and a half, 15 by 10 on the back, and a 17 by 9 up front, which is pulling that tire in a little bit up front. That's my car. Oh, I wanted to aero, so extractor vent, any air that makes it in through the front, in theory will come out. I made some block off plates out of some fiberglass. I'm not a body guy, but it's functional. And if you step back really far, it looks cool. And then turbo peeking out. Oh yeah, you may have noticed 2G headlights in a 1G car. It's because they weigh less. Let's turn on some lights. Just because it looks cool. So those are some yellow fog lights in the low beams. And then I have it wired so that the lows stay on with the high. Bam. So at this point, I still have to finish the wiring, which is going to take a while. I already have the Fuel Tech harness on the car. So it's a 6-cylinder harness for an FT550. But I have to wire all the accessories and cam and crank sensors. And then CAC Performance is building a engine for me. He'll have that done soon. Transmission, like I said, is Powerglide. That's from Mitchell Transmissions down in Southern Indiana. They always do a good job on stuff. You have to have good people on your team. People think it's about sponsors. It's not. It's about having companies that understand what you're trying to do and prioritize you for when you break stuff. Because if you got to make a race or change something, you don't want to be at the back of the line. So sometimes you have to pay more. Those guys do a good job for me. And that's it. It's going to be cool. I can't wait to start it up next video.